11 plus problem of the week, week 4. This week we're going to look at an 11 plus question that involves perimeter. Let's read through the question. The perimeter of the outer square is 32 centimetres and the perimeter of the inner square is 24 centimetres. If the four rectangles are all identical, what is the perimeter of the shaded shape? So, as usual, let's think about using rucksack to help us solve this problem. So, first of all, R, we're going to read through the problem again in a minute. Then we're going to underline the important information. Then we're going to choose what calculation we're going to be using. Then we're going to solve it. Then we're going to see whether our answer makes sense. And then we're going to check. So, let's have a look. The perimeter of the outer square is 32 centimetres. Okay, the perimeter of the inner square is 24 centimetres, and we know that all four rectangles are identical, and what it's actually asking us to find out is the perimeter of the shaded shape. Remember, when you have a question involving measures and shapes, it's really important to jot down any information you've been given onto the diagram itself, and that will really help you. So let's find out what we know. Well, it tells us that the perimeter of the outer square is 32 centimetres. So that means the pink all the way around the outside of this outer square is 32. Now we know it's a square, so that tells us that all four sides are the same. So to find the length of one side, we need to do 32 divided by 4. Which is 8. So that tells us that the length of the larger square is 8. And then we can get rid of all our other jottings just so we know that the length is 8. And then it also tells us that the perimeter of the inner square is 24 centimetres. Well, this is the inner square, and that's 24. Now again, it's a square, which means all four sides are the same. So to find the length of one of the sides, we're going to do 24 divided by 4, which is 6. So that tells us that the length of one of the inner square, the shorter length here, is 6. Now the question is asking us to work out the perimeter of the shaded shape. So what we can do here then is think, well, on the shaded shape, let's write in, we know that from here to here is 6, and then on the shaded shape as well, we know that the longer side, the larger square, that's 8. Now, if we do that, we can see the difference between these two measurements. So we've got 6 here, and we've also got 8. Now, we can see here that that means there's a little bit extra here on this end, and a little bit extra here on this end, and we know that those two are the same. We know that both those pieces at the end, those extra bits, are the same because these shapes here are exactly the same. It's that same rectangle repeated. Now, because there are two of them, we can see here that we've got the long side is 8 and the short side is 6. So if we do 8 take away 6, that gives me 2. That gives me 2 centimetres. Now, I've got two of them. I've got two of those little blue pieces, so I know that 2 divided by 2 is 1. So what that's telling me is that each little blue bit measures 1 centimetre. Now, it's the shaded shape that I want to find the perimeter of. So if this is my shaded shape, I can see that I know that the long side of my shaded shape is going to be 6, here, and the 1. Now this 1 here doesn't matter because that's not on the shaded shape, so I've got 6 here and 1. So that means that the length of my shaded shape is going to be 7. Now I need to work out the width of my shaded shape, so the width of this little bit here and this little bit here. Well, we can see if this shaded shape was replaced here, actually the ends of all these shapes are exactly the same. It's 1. So I know that the end of my shaded shape is 1 because it's this little measurement here. And remember, it's a square, so that would be 1, that would be 1, that would be 1. That's a 1 by 1 square, and exactly the same down this end. So I now know that the length of my shaded shape is 7 and the width of my shaded shape is 1. But remember that the question asked us for the perimeter of the shaded shape. So if the length of my shaded shape is 7, that means the other side must be 7, and the width here must be 1. So now remember the perimeter means all of those sides added up together. So 7 plus 1 is 16 centimetres. The perimeter of this shaded shape is 16 centimetres. Now it's your turn to try a similar question. So you're going to pause the video and have a try of the following question, and then we can check back and see how you did. Have a go at this question. How did you get on? Let's go through the answer. So the perimeter of the outer square was 52. And there are 4 sides, so that meant that 52 divided by 4 is 13. So you knew that the length of the long side was 13. And then the perimeter of the inner square was 36. And again, there are 4 sides to the shape, so 36 divided by 4 is 9. So you know that this length here is 9. And then you could see that the difference here, the difference between 13 and 9 is 4, which meant that this length here and this length here together were 4. So there are 2 of them, divided by 2, and that means this length here is 2 and this length here is 2. But it was the shaded shape we wanted, which is the 9 and the 2. So we knew that the length of the shaded shape was 11, and then the width of the shaded shape is the same as this one here. So we know that was 2. So we had 11 by 2. Now remember, it's perimeter. We want another 11 here and another 2 here. And then we need to add them all together to give us the perimeter. And the perimeter is 26 centimetres. So your answer is 26. Well done.